Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troller. 1972 to 1975.
Game 451, Twins at White Sox. Welcome back, baseball fans. 1972-75 Carryover League. We got our last series for the All-Star break in the American League Midwest. We got the Twins and the White Sox. We'll just get into it, show you what's happened. Game 1, opening up in Minnesota. Wilbur Wood, Burt Behome, Bly 11. A pitcher's duel? Sure, of course. Bottom of the second inning, Harmon Killebrew with a solo homer. 1-0 Twins. Fourth inning for the White Sox. Before we get to the fourth inning, I got to mention something here. Steve Bry is playing left field for the White Sox. He used to be a Twin. Twins did not promote him to their roster, and that will haunt this team. The White Sox snagged him. The Mets snagged the other, Bobby Darwin. The Twin outfield now moving forward is Ron Woods, Jim Holt, Larry Heisel, and Joe Lovitto. Only Heisel will be any good in a few years. So that could really hurt the Twins as they held on to the aging Oliva and Killebrew a little bit too long. Anyway, the reason I'm mentioning Bry is that he triples in the third inning, in the second inning, and gets stranded. But in the fourth inning, Buddy Bradford doubles, a strikeout, a Bill Melton single, runners on the corners, and the second triple and 2 at-bats for Bry plates the 2 runs. That is all Wilbur Wood needs today. Complete game, 9 innings, 6 hits, the 1 run allowed, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. And a disappointed Burt Blyleven also threw a complete game. We've had some fantastic pitching recently, folks. Blyleven, 9 innings, 9 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, and 9 Ks. The visiting White Sox take the first step they need into beginning a run in the American League. They're a talented team with an absolutely brutal schedule. Every game they play is a war. The games last forever, and they are often in doubt. And this one is the Wilbur Wood complete game 2-1 victory. Game number 2 in Minnesota. It is Stan Bonson against Dave Goltz. And in this one, what we have noticed is with the White Sox, we actually prefer the righty pitchers versus this Twin lineup, who hit lefties very well, theory goes, even though they didn't do it against Wilbur Wood. Wilbur Wood probably had a lot to do with it. So we're going to be okay, but we'll watch Bonson carefully. This game, bottom of the third, Bonson a single, strikeout, RBI single, Tony Oliva 1-0. Bonson actually pitches pretty well in this game. 6th inning, a walk, a double play, a hit, another walk. That'll chase him. And after Forster walks to load the bases coming in relief, Forster gets a strikeout of Oliva to end the inning. Bonson's day, 5 2/3, 8 hits, a run, 5 walks. That's Stan Bonson territory. Put 13 men on, only one of them scored. All in all, it's a learning experience to suggest that, maybe Bonson, maybe Bradley, maybe Johnson will do okay as well against this Twin lineup. While this is happening, Dave Goltz dominates righties, questionable against lefties. White Sox loaded up with May and Orta and Henderson and Stinson and Muser, putting 3 righties on the bench. Doesn't matter. They don't get a single until the 4th inning by Orta. They don't get their second hit until the 8th inning. In the 9th inning, after a walk, Dave Goltz is pulled with a 2-hit shutout, 5 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Pete Reichert and Tom Murphy come in to get a ground out, a strikeout, and a strikeout to end the game in what you can call the one that got away from the White Sox. You didn't help out Stan Bonson, and you lose 2-0 to Dave Goltz. a game you really should have won, even though it's on the road. Could that end up haunting the White Sox? They get one run on the road, they get a split, and once again, these White Sox, for every step forward, it's a step sideways. They just can't seem to pull away and start whipping their opponent. Or so we think. Game number 3. It is Bill Parsons for the Twins, former Brewer, against Tom Bradley. A lot to talk about for White Sox fans here. Let's start with Bradley. Bradley goes 7 innings today, 5 hits. In the second inning, he gave up a homer to Phil Roof, a couple singles and a sac fly. That was his worst inning. The other 6 were clean innings. And the White Sox just used Lemons and Gossage just to get them some work, because this is an easy game. It all happened in the first inning. Dick Allen walk after an out, Orta walk, and you get a 3-run homer, Ken Henderson. Melton walk, you get a 2-run homer, Buddy Bradford. Bob Stinson walk, you get a 2-run homer, Tony Muser. This is what we think the White Sox can do more of. Maybe not that much, but you get the idea. They can put some numbers on the board if they put their mind to it. 7 in the first, another Tony Muser homer in the third, a Carlos May 2-run homer in the sixth, 10 runs, a laugher, finally, for the White Sox, dismantling the Twins 10-2. And this was all based on the idea that let's give Wilbur Wood an extra day off so he doesn't have to come back on two days, because we're not really worried about these Twins against right-handed pitching. So Game 4, Wood comes back on his regular 3 days rest, mostly because he'll be dealing against the Twins' best pitcher, Jim Kaat. Jim Kaat and Wilbur Wood, fascinating matchup. Both guys, starter 8s, best pitchers on their teams. Both starter 8 lefties dominate in 72. In this affair, the Twins get the first run on a Carew homer. Bottom of the inning, the White Sox are executing their running game nicely. Brian Downing, a guy who draws a lot of walks, is in the leadoff spot today. He walked 4 times. He walked and stole a base, got stranded in the first. But in the second inning, he walked, stayed at first while Aparicio rolled a plus on his card. Carlos May singles, and then there's a sac fly by Dick Allen for 2 runs. And then Carlos May gets caught stealing at the end of that inning, trying to get to second base. So that was the first time the running game failed at the end of that frame, after stealing, not stealing, getting a plus, and so forth. So it's a 2-1 lead. Into the 7th inning we go with Kaat. It's a triple by Steve Bry, Mr. Triple Hitter. That's 3 triples. That one's off his card. Sac fly by Bucky Dent. 8th inning, a couple singles, a Bill Melton double play, but Ken Henderson bails him out with an RBI single. Wilbur Wood is asked to sit out the 9th inning. He can't believe it. It's like, hey, we got Rich Gossage. And Rich Gossage is like, look, Mr. Wood, they brought me in here just to make things don't go screwy. And Mr. Gossage is closer. Rich Gossage is higher up on the Cy Young voting this year than Wilbur Wood. He's just having a fabulous year. A hit and 2 strikeouts in the 9th. The underused Gossage has only pitched 2 innings in four games. And they're up 3-1. The White Sox win this game 4-1. They're up 3-1 in the series. And this is where you just got to step on the neck of the Twins and bury this franchise today. You just got to do it. Figure out how to do it. You just can't get on the plane and go back to Minnesota if you can avoid it. Let's look at the standings. It's so important to these White Sox. They've been taking steps forward, and but there it is, 16-12 now. They really want to get to within a game of Kansas City, making that a pure best of 7 for the American League Midwest. Don't want to lose. If you lose this game, it's going to make it a little more difficult to catch the Royals for the division crown once you're a game and a half back. They want to finish the Twins today. The Twins, they're in last place, a half game now behind the Brewers. They don't have a lot to play for. But the bad news is, for White Sox fans, the pitching matchup. They do have Bert Blyleven, who has been the best pitcher in the series for the Twins. He's a righty who's very good at getting lefties out. He matches up very well against the White Sox. He's a pitcher to be feared, a starter 7. 17-game winner with a 2.73 ERA in 287 innings. And our first look at this series at Bart Johnson. He's been given plenty of pep talks. Bonson pitched well. Bradley pitched well, and you're better than both those guys. And you're a starter 7, and we got Goose Gossage available and Terry Forster. So Bart Johnson, 10-4 with a 2.73 ERA in 122 innings. Twins, White Sox, Game 5 from Comiskey Park. White Sox need to get this one. Just for schedule purposes. They've had such a brutal schedule. They got to beat the cupcakes when they come along. And that's what the Twins have been reduced to. Leading off is Rod Carew. 38 is a fly ball to right. Larry Heisel, 1-8. That's a double 1 of 10. Base hit. Ace Steeler, who's catching? Downing with a -1 arm. They're going to try a stolen base, and this is the dangerous thing about the Twins. They'll do whatever they feel like doing. Who cares? They got nothing to lose. He rolls a 1. T rating is an 18. He will stay at second. Runner at second for Oliva. 66 is a fly ball to right. And with 2 outs, Phil Roof. 36 is a K. Bottom of the first. Dick Allen and Carlos May are always finding a new spot. First and second, second and third, third and fourth, back and forth. Dick Allen's leading off today against Blyleven. 39 is ball 4 for Dick Allen. So we know Blyleven is good against lefties. So all the lefties are alternating today. No back-to-backs. You got May batting second, Orta fourth, Henderson sixth, with Stinson and Muser actually on the bench. Carlos May, 58, is single 1 to 18. And he rolled a 19. That is brutal right there. A single 1 to 18 chance, and that's a line out. Buddy Bradford, 4-4, center X. You got Joe Levitto's a 3-10 in center field. And that is caught. And with 2 outs, it's batting out of Orta. 68's a walk. 2 on, 2 outs for Bill Melton. 3-5. Let's take a look at Bill Melton's card. Nice year for him in 73. 276 average, 20 home runs, 75 walks. Everyday player. Has to stay out of those double plays. Had 2 of those in his previous game. Today, though, double 1 to 2. That's an RBI single. 1-0 White Sox. Runners on the corners. 2 outs. Ken Henderson. 6-10 off of Blyleven. Short X. This is, you got to take advantage of this. 336 shortstop. And they cannot. So, weak defense for the Twins. Levitto in center. Robinson at short. Doesn't matter. It's just 1 zip. Jim Holt. 2-3. Pops to short. Harmon Killebrew. 2-4. Grounds to short. And Joe Levitto. 4-10. Bouncer to third. This is Melton. 3-26, and he surrenders a single with 2 outs. Eric Soderholm, 37 is a walk, and with 2 on and 2 outs, number 9 hitter, Craig Robinson. 2-3, pops to short. Bottom of the second, it'll be Steve Bry getting a start against a right-hander today. Former Twin, 1-6K. Brian Downing getting a start against a righty, 6-10, third X. Soderholm at 2-22. And that is an error. Setting up a potential hit and run. Now, in this situation, you normally have been hitting and running with Aparicio with Downing. Or stealing a base. But Blyleven's better against lefties. I think we're going to be conservative here and just let old Louis swing away. 5-12 is a walk. That worked out again. 2 on, 1 out. Dick Allen. 67 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Carlos May. 4-4, third X. The 2-22 third baseman makes the play. White Sox, they're leaving him on again. Just a 1-0 game. Into the third, it's Carew. 68, flies to center. Larry Heisel, 69, pops to first. And with 2 outs, it's Oliva. 2-7, single 1 to 11. He gets it. And the dangerous Phil Roof. The roof's on fire. 4-9 is a bouncer to short. Aparicio at 2-24 makes the play. Bottom of the third, it's Buddy Bradford. 2-6 is a base hit. George batting out of order. 512 is first C. I'll move the runner up. Runner at second for Melton, who has the RBI today. 57 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Henderson. 32 rolls to third. They're doing it again, folks. 1-0. Making me earn my earn my longevity playing White Sox games. Boy, this team's grueling sometimes. Jim Holt, 2-6. Double 1-7 is a 2-base hit. Harmon Killebrew, 33, rolls to third. Joe Levitto, 2-7, single 1-19. He gets the 19. You're keeping track of these sort of things. One guy missed a single 1-18 by rolling a 19, and this time a guy actually has a single 1-19 on his card and barely gets it. So you have runners on the corners for Soderholm. Kind of want to bring the infield up here. Well, let me look at the ground ball Bs on the card. That's what you should do first and foremost. Don't cancel yourself out of a double play. They're going to play back for Soderholm. They don't think they're going to get a ground ball B. Here's the pitch. 56, the sac fly to left field. We got a tie game. Runner at first, 2 outs for Craig Robinson. 2-7 is a K. 1-1, bottom of the 4th. It's Steve Bry. 47 is a K. Brian Downing, 6'10". Third X. Again, this is Mr. Future Chai Sock. Eric Soderholm, a 2E22 at third. Makes the play. And Louis Aparicio, 48. Single 1-2-6. Rolls a 16. Cannot convert. Dead even game. Same number of plate appearances for both teams. Leadoff men will bat in the 5th. It'll be Rod Carew. 64 off Bart Johnson is catcher's X. Brian Downing's a 2E5. Makes the play. Larry Heisel, 68, is a liner to short. And with 2 outs, Tony Oliva, 47, single. And the roof is on fire. 65, Bart Johnson gets in the pop out. So, much like Bonson, much like Bradley, these right-handed starters of the White Sox are finally starting to click. Now it's up to the White Sox offense to just get it going against the relentless Hall of Famer, Burt Blyleven. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, Dick Allen. He has a plan for Burt. He walked in the 1st, took a called 3rd strike in the 2nd. Maybe he'll be hacking here in the 5th. The pitch to Dick Allen. 45 off Blyleven. Flies to deep right field. That's what he was doing. Carlos May. 47's a K. And with 2 outs, Buddy Bradford. 57 is a K. We go to the 6th. Bart Johnson and Blyleven. They're both starter 7s. In a 1-1 affair. Jim Holt. 1-6. Grounds a short. Killebrew. 55. Second C. And Levitto. 1-9. Can't get this guy out. Base hit for Joe Levitto, who is 3 for 3, the 224 hitter. B Steeler. I think he's going to take off. Again, house money Twins. You can be free and loose when you got nothing to play for. Joe Levitto, 3 singles and a stolen base. Lead runner in scoring position for Eric Soderholm, trying to hurt his future team. Here's the pitch to Eric. 63 off of Bart Johnson, his first X. Dick Allen is a 3-8 at first. A 3-8. It's a ground ball. See, the inning's over. Bottom of the 6th. It'll be George Orta. 1-9. That's a base hit for George. And now we have Melton, who got the RBI single earlier. Stay out of the double play there, Bill. Bill Melton. 56. Short X. Now this is Robinson at 336. Got to make these guys pay. And they do. E8 shortstop would make an error. That's a very low percentage, so we know Robinson does. It's an E6. Now you got Henderson. We're not going to let our sluggers bunt and do this nonsense. We're just going to have to start hacking and getting some runs here. First and second, nobody out. Ken Henderson. 210, flies to deep right field. Well, that's hacking. Now Steve Bry, who's become a fan favorite here in Chicago. Pitch to Steve Bry. 3-7, let's take a look at the card. Bry, this is it. 73. 278 at-bats, a 263 average with 6 home runs. Good defense in the corner spots. Can give you center field if you need it. Don't know why the Twins did promote him. And because of that, they had to go into free agency and find Joe Lovito, who has a much shorter shelf life. Though today, Lovito is 3 for 3. 3-7, single 1 a 6. And that is a line out on an 18. Disappointing there. And with 2 on and 2 outs, it's Brian Downing. 4-4 off of Bly-Levin. Center X. Again, this is Lovito in center. A 3-10. And that's a 2-base error. So finally, the White Sox cash in on the bad defenses of Craig Robinson and Joe Lovito in this inning. 2-base error. Nothing earned to the chagrin of Burt Bly-Levin. A 2-base error on the center fielder. It's 2-1 with runners at second and third and 2 outs for Louis Aparicio. 3-11 for Louis, grounds to short. Well, a gift to the Chi Sox. 9 outs to get to end this series and get us to the All-Star break. Number 9 hitter, Craig Robinson, leads off. 46 off of Bart Johnson, single 1 at 12. Gets the 12. They got a 19. They got a 12 on those rolls. Tough break there. That's the tie run. Now you lean on. You got lefty, righty, lefty. I think Bart's at least pitching through Heisel. You got to lean on this guy a little bit here. He is his best Bart Johnson card we have. So we'll have to deal with Carew, who's 0 for today. Limit the damage and avoid the 2-run homer if possible. Here's the pitch to Rod Carew. 38 is a fly ball to right. Now you got Heisel. 66 is a pop to second, and with 2 outs, I know what everybody's thinking. We got to look at the Tony Oliva card here. This is a DH year for him in 73 after being injured in 72. When they instituted the DH rule, somehow Oliva did not win the award. Baby Bull Orlando Cepeda won it with similar cards, actually. Both hit like 290 with 16 home runs in Oliva's case. So do you pitch to Oliva, or do you, in one stroke, bring in Terry Forster to go through Oliva, Roof, who has more homers against righties, and Jim Holt, and then get to Gossage in a clinching game? I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to pull Bart Johnson, protect the kid from a loss, number 1. He's pitched brilliantly. He got Carew out, which is house money. So we're going to pull Bart after 6 2/3. We need 7 outs out of Forster and Gossage to get to the All-Star break for the White Sox. So we're going to execute that plan. 6 2/3. Terry Forster is going to come on in the 7th. Much better equipped to deal with Tony Oliva. With a runner at first and 2 outs. Oliva does not have power, so don't have to worry about the losing the lead with a homer. Unless he rolls the 1-5 on his card. That's the only shot. So it'll be Tony Oliva. And here is the pitch. 58 off of Forster is a strikeout. Stretch time here in Chicago. Always interesting for the Comiskey fans having to sweat out these wins. And we're enjoying the Baby Huey story, a Chicago legend on the Curtom record label, Curtis Mayfield in the late 60s, early 70s. Baby Huey story. This is a 2-disc set, folks. Some wonderful stuff here. Doing a cover of Aquarius right now. California Dreaming as well. They go Mighty Mighty, Listen to Me, great LP by Baby Huey. Here in Chicago, back to the game. Bottom of the 7th. Bly-Levin isn't going anywhere. It is his breaking inning in the 7th. And it'll be the top of the lineup he has to deal with, Dick Allen. 64 is catcher's X. Roof is a 2E6. And he makes the play. Carlos May, 57 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Buddy Bradford. 39 grounds to short. And is Bly-Levin going to lose this game because of a couple walks in the first inning and a couple errors in the 6th inning? That's what the course is. Forster will be asked to deal with Roof, who has more homers against righties. Holt, because he's a lefty. And then we'll probably see a We'll play the you got to beat Rich Gossage card. So here we go. In the 8th, Phil Roof will bat. Here's the pitch to Phil Roof. 63 off Forster is second X. And Orta is still in the game. We didn't bring in Bucky Dent. Probably should have done that. He's a 4-20 second baseman. And he makes the play. So much for having to be forced in there using the defense all the time. So Orta makes that play. And frankly, here's the comparison. Dent's a 3E34. Orta is a 4E20. So it's not like you're going to a Gold Glover as a replacement, all right? So 1 out here in the 8th. It'll be Jim Holt. 2-3 is a pop to first. And with 2 outs, they're just going to do it. They know the situation. They're going to our guy, Rich Gossage, trying to get a Cy Young. A save today in this situation would really look good on that resume. He'd be going up the list because of the incredible amount of innings he's pitched thus far this year. Gossage, he's going to be on the rookie list because he was not in our league until this year. We let him sit with 72, 3, and 4 cards that weren't very good. But his card was promoted, which puts him on the Rookie of the Year list. He'll have to compete with Fred Lynn for that role. Of course, Freddie's having a rough time this year. So Gossage, anyway, 9-8, 184 ERA, 142 innings, is being asked to get 4 more outs for the White Sox. He will face the legend, Harmon Killebrew. May as well look at the legend, because this could be his last at-bat in the regular season. He does have cards in 73 with Kansas City and maybe 74. But in 72, his last good year with the Twins, 26 homers, 94 walks, but the average is down to 231. Doesn't play third anymore, just first. Harmon Killebrew, the tie run, in a 2-1 affair. Here's the pitch to the legend, Harmon Killebrew. 58, and that is a Gossage strikeout. Bottom of the 8th. Blyleven isn't going anywhere, of course. I'll have to deal with George Orta, who is 1 for 2 with a walk. Made that fine fielding gem at the top of the inning. 34 grounds to second. By the way, we will now, just for comfort's sake, go to Dent to field. That argument I just used, I'm just going to say, it is a little better to get it with 3 than a 4. Less chance of a single dot die and that sort of thing. So Dent will take over at second in the top half of the inning. Here's Bill Melton. 49 is a single off of Blyleven. And now you got Ken Henderson. 6-11. Pitcher X Blyleven is an E15. That's pretty good. And this is an error again, an E6. So if you look at the result, whenever you see this error, you know it's going E rating. And the qualifier is Blyleven's a 15. E6 pitchers make errors through 15, and that's an error. That's a shame, but he's going to stick around and deal with Steve Bry. 37, single 1 to 6. Missed it earlier. Gets it now. Gets the single 1 to 6. And they're loaded for Brian Downing. Now you have bases loaded walk here. Boy, this is really brutal for Twins and Twins fans. What do you do here? Down 3-1 in the series. Your best pitcher out there. He's got a righty and a righty with the bases loaded and 1 out. He's better against lefties. Brian Downing walks a ton. I think he's earned the right to pitch to his point of weakness, which is 1 more base runner. So he will pitch to Brian Downing with the infield up. Here's the pitch to Brian Downing. 48 is that single 1 to 6 chance, and he lines out on a 15. And with 2 outs, it's Louis Aparicio. 35 grounds to short. Well, the gift was in the 6th. No gift in the 8th. And that's a lump of coal for the White Sox here. And once again, they got to sweat this thing out of the 9th with their superstar closer. Tony Muser can get into this game and play first base. Dick Allen can go to DH. And that is the best defense the White Sox can put out there. He'll come in for Carlos May. We don't need him in the outfield either with a +5 arm, +3 arm. We go to the 9th. It is 2-1. It's Joe Lovito, Eric Soderholm, Craig Robinson, probably some pinch hitters. Cardinals has no hits on his card versus righties. Mitterwald and Woods could theoretically hit homers. But let's take a look at this guy, Joe Lovito. And it's a real shame the Twins dug this hole. They had to find this guy, somebody to play outfield. They only had 3 of them. They had Heisel. They had Holt from a year ago. And they had to add Joe Lovito and Ron Woods to the roster because they let Darwin and Bry go. Lovito was a Texas Ranger in 72, a .224 hitter and 330 at-bats, is a base stealer and a 15-runner, and pretty decent defensively. And he's 3 for 3 today. And he bats left-handed against Gossage. Here's the pitch to Joe Lovito. 45 off Gossage, triple 1 of 5. He missed it, and he's only 4 for 4 with 4 singles. And this is where it all gets hairy for the Twins and White Sox here. You got speed at first, a base stealer. You got a -1 arm catcher. You got Soderholm. Craig Robinson probably won't bat. Everybody else probably will. So Soderholm and then Woods or Mitterwald will pinch hit. You don't bunt, of course, to tie on the road, but you could hit and run here against the dangerous Gossage. You like to have one of your righties not necessarily swing the bat against Rich Gossage, so it may as well be in a hit and run form, and that's what we're going to do. B stealer at first. Soderholm will execute a hit and run, and here's the roll on the hit and run. It is a 6, so he moves the runner up on the hit and run. Tying run at second. Craig Robinson. We're going to have a pinch hitter. It's either going to be Woods or Mitterwald. I got to go Ron Woods here because of more homers on his own card. Let's take a look at this guy. The 2 guys we've just been attacking. Joe Lovito, he didn't do anything. He just was picked up by the Twins. And now this guy, Ron Woods, he was an Expo in 72. Hit .258 with 10 homers and 200 at-bats. You can see how he has some decent symmetry versus lefties or righties with a low average. Great defense. Pretty cool player to have defined in free agency at the end of the draft and so forth. Big moment here in the White Sox season. If this guy goes yard, this could be a disaster for the White Sox. Runner at second, 1 out. The pitch to Ron Woods. 3-10 is a fly ball to left. And it'll come down to who else? The leadoff hitter, Rod Carew, against Gossage. Now, Gossage, you could intentionally walk this guy and go for Heisel. You would like to get a walk. If Carew's going to reach, you'd hope it's a walk on the Carew card, not a hit. And scoring a run from second base, Lovito's got wheels. Singles to center, left, and right. You got arms in center and right. Single dots on the Carew card is just 3-5. That's the automatic run. And 110. I almost think you want to walk him, but then you got Heisel. You don't have to worry about Carew stealing a base with the guys at second. And then you got to deal with Tony Oliva after that. Is Gossage going to intentionally walk the winning run onto the base to face Larry Heisel? Nope. I think Gossage is going to have to use this as a learning moment. You're going to have to face some lefties in this run, and Carew is going to be one of them. You figure Carew's not going to hit a homer here, so you're losing the game. Worst case, it's a tie. He's going to battle Rod Carew in this situation. A learning experience for Gossage. If you're the closer and the Cy Young winner, you got to battle everybody, lefty and righty. So here is the pitch to Rod Carew. 2-7, and he gets him to ground to first base on a plus. So if you didn't do the hit and run here, well, Lovito probably would have ran down to second base. Or maybe not. Interesting scenario. I think you want to keep the tie run at first, so you're probably holding him there. That would have opened up a single chance on the plus for Carew, which he just would have rolled. But he's not at first. He's at second, not being held. 2-7 is ground ball to first. That's the final out of the game. And Gossage does convert. Made it interesting by allowing the leadoff man to reach. He got Hall of Famer Rod Carew to ground out to Tony Muser to end the game. And the White Sox do indeed win a nail-biter. And they've been through a million of these. Hardly surprising. 2-1. So we'll just take this right to the post game. Bart Johnson does get the win. Forster, a nice hold. Gossage a save. They're finally getting this all clicking. Just need to get the offense more consistent. You can't have a 8-run first inning and then just score a couple runs every game the rest of the series, particularly against an also-ran like the Twins. Poor Bert Blyleven, the other Hall of Famer, plus Killebrew. We got some Hall of Famers on this Twin roster here, folks. Tony Oliva. Poor Blyleven. In this game, we'll just take this right to the box to see how many earned runs and so forth and so on. So Gossage gets a 4-out save. Still not overworked. Hardly pitched in this series. Never actually went 2 innings in any of the games. A hit and a strikeout. Terry Forster struck out Oliva in the 7th. Bart Johnson, along with Tom Bradley and Stan Bonson, they're pitching well now. They can keep that going. They'd be in good shape. 8 hits allowed, sprinkled through 6 2/3. The 1 run was earned. A walk and a couple Ks. And Bert Blyleven taking a loss, 5 hits, 2 runs, just 1 was earned. Walked 3, struck out 7, give him another complete game. 1019 01008 2519 1437. Twins put 10 men on base, White Sox put 8 men on base. Home team and the home cooking. Got the breaks on defense. Didn't get the breaks on those single chances. Twins got those, but could not convert them. So it means 12-17 and 17-12 are the records of these two teams going in opposite directions. The good news for the White Sox is, after the brutal teams they faced, Oakland, and Baltimore, and the Pirates, and Kansas City, they took care of business against the Cupcakes, Brewers, and Twins, winning 8 games in those matchups when they had to. And you see their stats right here. The 12-17 Twins hitting .249 with a .398 ERA. Ladies and gentlemen, Bert Blyleven just went through a season 0-7 at the All-Star break. Only giving up 30 runs in 64 innings. That's a... No, 4.21 ERA isn't very good, is it? 2 complete games. Dave Goltz was 4-1 with an inferior card. Offensively, we have 4 home runs for Ron Woods, who had that. We used him as a pinch hitter in a home run moment. It didn't convert it. I don't know who the Twins are going to send to the All-Star game. Maybe Tony Oliva, who has 41 hits. Yep, not a good scenario for the Twins. Now the White Sox, they're 17-12. They're also hitting .249 with a .391 ERA. Statistically, in the same realm of the team they just dispatched. The White Sox have scored 135 runs, given up 130. But again, I got to caution looking at the stats too closely with a microscope. They've had a brutal schedule. And so who really rolls World Series playoff teams on a consistent basis? Usually nobody does. If you remember, the Pirates limped into the All-Star game with a .500 record a year ago and then went on to win the World Series. So 17-12 is actually pretty darn good for the White Sox right now. Wilbur Wood is 5-4 and with 6 complete games. The ERA in his Cy Young quest is .268, but the one loss record's not there. He's 5-4. Gossage is 2-0. The 5 saves is not a sterling number, but you have to go deeper into the innings pitched and runs allowed. He's gone 24 2/3 innings, allowing just 3 runs. That is amazing. So Gossage has a 111 earned run average and leads all relief pitchers in innings pitched. He also has just 16 hits, 12 walks, and 35 strikeouts. If there's a lights-out starting pitcher, that person would probably win the Cy Young. If it's a bunch of mediocre guys, then it opens a door where I could have Gossage be the first reliever to win a Cy Young in the carryover league. Let's take a look at the overall standings again. There it is. Good news for the White Sox. They played a best of 7 with the Twins before. A best of 7 this time. Everything would be tied, and tied. They'd be tied. Royals won a best of 7. White Sox could win a best of 7, and they would be tied. They'd have a 1-game playoff after that. That's just to see who has the lead. It's not for determining the division, not until the end of the postseason tournament. We'll get into more of that when we have our first half wrap-up video, which will be coming up tomorrow or a few days, and then the All-Star game. But right now, I think we can make these guys a 5. Just doing a little bit more handicapping. This is all going to change, of course, by the playoffs. Time the playoffs get around here. Folks, break up the Chicago White Sox. They took care of business. They did defeat their Minnesota Twin rival 4 games to 1. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.